Hi everyone, this is Group 9, Angela Cook, Liang Guo, and Paige Laurie in MMC 6400 Mass Communication Theory. We're going to be discussing the diffusion of innovations theory with a focus on its role in social media. So here's a quick recap of the diffusion of innovations theory. This explains how new ideas in technology or the innovations are spread throughout society, which would be the diffusion. Now, this particular theory often relates to technological innovations, so theorists will often use these two terms interchangeably. Everett Rogers, a communication scholar who is best known for popularizing this theory in his book, Diffusion of Innovations, explains that there are 5 steps in the decision process. This is referring to the decision to adopt a new idea or innovation. The first step in the decision process is gaining knowledge of an idea. For instance, you could hear about this by word of mouth from a friend, see a TV commercial, notice a Facebook friend posting about it, or something similar. The second step is persuasion, which happens when you decide whether you like the idea or not, developing a positive or negative attitude towards the idea. The third step is the decision. Are you accepting or rejecting the idea? The fourth step, implementation, is when you actually use the idea or test out the product or service. And the fifth and final step is confirmation, when you look to others for confirmation that your decision was a good one. You have now fully adopted a new idea unless confirmation is not received. If this is the case, you might change your mind and abandon the idea. Okay, so let's say the individual has adopted the idea. Now they fit within one of these societal categories on the diffusion of innovation adoption model. It's important to note that there is also an invisible chasm within this model, found between the early adopters and the early majority, which seeks to keep the two categories divided until a tipping point is reached. Now, let's focus on how this theory relates to social media. Social media or new media allows us the ability to share new idea content that has more capability of becoming viral than other media platforms. The amount of potential adopters that are reached becomes greater due to this capability as well, and thus resulting in higher adoption rates. Brands are well aware of this concept, and many have included in their marketing strategies content to share that will further promote these new ideas. Considered two of the leaders in technological innovation, Apple and Samsung have different approaches with their social media content, but both seem to be working in their favor. Samsung has a great social media presence, with accounts on all large social media channels as well as fresh content to share. Consumers will often share personal reviews or retweet Samsung's posts that typically contain new product launch details, giving Samsung a healthy variety of brand-driven content as well as consumer-generated content. Apple, on the other hand, has almost no presence on social media at the moment, with the exception of a Tumblr account. However, there is speculation that Apple plans to join the social media world in the coming months. This delay to such a crucial relationship-building platform has not seemed to hurt the company, though. Apple relies mainly on consumer-generated content, such as product reviews or concept model discussion for new product launches. The examples below show a Facebook post by Beyoncé in which she posts a selfie while using her celebrity status to endorse the Apple iPhone 6. Next is a tweet with a link to a Samsung Note 4 phablet review, written by a magazine company, in which they claim that the Pioneer device remains in the lead of the phablets. Regardless of a social media presence or not, both companies appear to maintain great social media presence through consumer-generated content, as we've seen in these examples. But this leads us to our next question. So how does social media affect the diffusion of innovation's adoption model? It continues to follow Everett Rogers' original notion that innovation is communicated through certain channels over time among the members of a social system, but it speeds up the rate of adoption. Because we have become more dependent on technology over the years, the rate at which we implement the decision-making process steps to adopt a new idea will continuously increase. The chart below shows the rate of adoption for our society's largest technological innovations and the number of years it took for the adoption rate to reach 25% of all U.S. households. So we can see from this chart that the more advanced our society has become with technology, the shorter amount of time it takes for us to generally accept a new idea. Technological determinism was used by Rogers to name the research of Harold Innis and Marshall McLuhan, and is the belief that changes in technology cause social changes in society. Individuals have become more dependent on technology, thus changing communication within society because of it. Today, the diffusion of an idea most likely takes place online, therefore shortening the rate at which the idea is adopted throughout society. So let's consider today's main social media channels. They've only been in existence for about a decade. However, the rate at which individuals adopt this idea is tremendous, with something like Facebook hitting 30 million users after only 3 years. The sharing concept on these sites, like the newsfeed on Facebook, allows for individuals or prosumers to freely test the diffusion of their own innovations at little or no cost to them. A prosumer is a consumer, but they are also able to create and produce their own products. Prosumers generally have more flexibility to be liberal with their innovations, as these ideas are typically on a smaller scale than their big brand counterparts. Prosumer innovations are considered an important aspect of developing countries, as innovations that originated from users diffused twice as widely and more than 3 times as quickly as producer innovations. This role that the prosumer plays eliminates the gatekeeper role, allowing for a more diverse definition of innovation. An additional positive is that these prosumer innovations often use resourceful ways to spread their idea via social media and word of mouth, many times maintaining the rate of virality and perhaps adoption that we see with the larger brands. This has been Group 9, Angela Cook, Leanne Guo, and Paige Laurie. Thanks for watching.